He looks like he's on meth. He looks like he's on meth.
He looks like he's on meth.
He looks like he's on meth. He looks like he's on meth.
Gritty.
Yeah.
Gritty, the Pepe of the left.
Coming up in this video.
In a battle, you better pray for help. In a battle, you better pray for help. Straight up and down, so don't even play yourself.
Well, hold on, okay, that's enough of the preview. That's coming up later. Now let's get this video started. The left has their own version of Pepe. It's Gritty, the mascot of the Philadelphia Flyers, the hockey team. He's not afraid to get into a scrap. He's gritty.
That's not surprising. They all like furries anyway.
I didn't even think of that. This is yet another case of the regressive left copying something that centrists and, real liberals, classical liberals, libertarians, and right-wing people do. They see something they do and they copy it. And by the way, folks, this is coming from our informant who's inside the regressive left bubble. Now, this is pretty interesting here, folks, and I have a few things to say about this meme here, but you see Gritty is going to operate the guillotine. You have a Nazi Pepe in the guillotine about to get their head cut off, and Gritty says, "Any last words?" The Nazi Pepe says, "So much for the tolerant left," which represents the civilized people who are not regressive left, who have been saying so much for the tolerant left. In other words, somebody gets hit over the bike lock because they have their hands up and they're like, "Hey, let's all stop fighting and talk," and they get hit over the head, then somebody might say, "So much for the tolerant left." So that's the sort of thing it's referring to right there. And by the way, again, this is a Nazi Pepe, but this is coming from someone who I would bet my left arm would call most right-wingers and perhaps even leftists who aren't regressive Nazis. So in other words, this is not representing the killing of a Nazi, it's representing the killing of people who are not far left. So then Pepe's looking over, he's giving us this look like, haha, I got him by saying so much for the tolerant left, but then Gritty just goes chop and chops off the Pepe's head. Now, this we have to take with a grain of salt. It seems to me that it's sort of just a fuck you kind of humor, the same way that, say, for example, somebody might use a meme or wear a t-shirt that refers to communists being thrown out of helicopters, free helicopter rides, for example. So, for example, I know for a fact that if Tiny's wearing a shirt that says free helicopter rides and it has images of people being thrown out of a helicopter, and he goes to a rally in Portland, for example, wearing that shirt, he does not actually want to kill anyone. He's just being a troll. He's just, that kind of a troll. He's not even truth trolling, it's a big middle finger. It's a middle finger humor. And that's what I would take this as because I'm a rational person. But because Nazi Pepe cartoons do in fact exist, they say, well, that means Pepe represents Nazism. Okay, well, that's actually stupid and wrong, but if that's what you're gonna do, then congratulations, officially, you folks who use the Gritty thing are actual violent revolutionaries who want to murder people. So there you go, that's the game that you started playing, so there you go. See, I said something in a recent video, the one about Elizabeth Warren, somebody quoted it in the comment section and said, that's a really quotable quote, and I forget what it is exactly, but it's basically something like, hold them to their own logic because it's their worst enemy. Something like that I said. So, it's true. So there you go. Anybody who uses Gritty as a symbol, besides perhaps being a furry, is someone who wants to murder people who don't agree with them. There you go. Okay? Alright, now let's have a look at some other Gritty memes by these asshats. Yeah, this one right here where Gritty is coming up to the side or behind someone from the whole Charlottesville thing, one of the torch-wielding kind of guys. It says, "You will not replace us," is what the guy with the torch is saying. Gritty comes up behind with some gasoline, he goes, "Hello," whoosh, lights him up, the guy's now on fire, he's dying. And Gritty says, "No need to replace what should be destroyed." Remember, folks, they're using, say, symbols like this or a Nazi Pepe to represent people who they disagree with in general. Alright? It's not just, they want to kill Nazis. No, they call everyone Nazis, and then they want to kill everyone they call Nazis. You get it? Now, of course, it wouldn't really be rational, or at least not honest, if we were to say, hey, look, everybody who uses this gritty thing as a symbol, that means they want to kill you with gasoline and fire. Like, they literally are going to pour gasoline on you, they're going to light you up, and that's it. They're going to, you know. However, that is what these folks do. They literally do say they're going to kill us, or they have killed us, and etc. And, you know. Let's have a look at a couple of articles. Here we have The Verge, and by the way, I am not saying that anything I'm about to read out loud is true. I don't know the source at all. The Verge. Gritty became a leftist meme because Philly loves a righteous hooligan. The Philadelphia Flyers' deranged orange lunatic is so much more than just a mascot. By Bijan Stephen, I guess. I don't know. October 17, 2018, 2:03 p.m. There you have Gritty. As one of the oldest cities in America, Philadelphia is the ancestral home of this country's political culture. Throughout its tumultuous history, from a site of revolutionary anger in the earliest days of this country to the proud post-manufacturing metropolis it is today, you can find the story of the United States writ small. That's also probably why the city takes its team so seriously. Okay, yeah. This was, in a real sense, the birthplace of America, and what's more American than taking sports too seriously. This year, the Philadelphia Flyers, the city's hockey team, debated its second ever attempt at a mascot, Gritty, a shaggy orange Wookiee-esque grotesquerie, who, in his first appearance on the ice, fell directly on his ass, and into America's meme-addled heart. Gritty's popularity exploded online across sports media and beyond. His giant, googly, unblinking eyes conveyed an unhinged, anarchic glee that inspired a raft of memes. In Philadelphia, of course, Gritty made the biggest splash of all. Online, the city and its residents instantly claimed him as an icon, one that represented his own rough and tumble personality. As one person put it, quote, "We're scrappy fighters and our city is dirty as hell," unquote. Okay. But it was Philly's activist left communities in particular who took that memeified characterization and ran with it. Gritty communicates the absurdity and struggle of modern life under capitalism. Well, I think it represents unhinged, violent, medicated far lefties, I guess, while bearing that weight cheerfully, striving to better the lives of his comrades. Oh my god, I live in a first world nation. It's so rough that I have to be violent and I have to save my comrades. All this pressure of modern life under capitalism. Okay, anyway, within a week of his debut, the mascot had shown up on a banner at the anti-Trump protest. There and elsewhere online, in the meme groups and leftist forums, the messages were always the same. Gritty is for the people. They were different from other Gritty fans because to them, he's more than a mascot. His very existence symbolizes the absurd contradictions of the modern condition that the left rails against. Or maybe that's going too deep. Perhaps the left loves Gritty for the reasons everyone else does, because they need him. Whatever the reason, the Philly left's immediate embrace of Gritty was effective and convincing enough to warrant a pearl-clutching op-ed, the Wall Street Journal. Quote, "Appropriation indeed," unquote. Writer Gillian K. Melchior begins the last paragraph in her piece. Quote, "Gritty belongs to Philadelphia, not to far-left activists. Still, in an era when everything from Nike and the NFL to your local restaurant is a political battlefield, this development is as predictable as it is sad. Not only can't we have nice things, we can't even have silly, creepy things," unquote. So that's pearl clutching, huh? Okay, The Verge. Anyway, this article is quite long. Here we have from October 7th of this year, Wall Street Journal opinion piece, "Antifa appropriates a creepy mascot. Keep your Marxist hands off Gritty. He belongs to Philly." So this is the pearl clutching article, apparently. When the Flyers unveiled their new mascot Gritty, hockey fans across America let out a gasp and a guffaw. Philadelphians embraced him with their signature brotherly love. Gritty looks like a tangerine hypertrichotic demon. His tripped-out googly eyes rattle in his head, and his default expression is a smug grin. The Philadelphia Inquirer's David Gambacorta described him as, quote, "the mascot version of a stab wound," unquote. And I'm not going to subscribe to the Wall Street Journal, so let's go to this by Quartz from 1 minute ago. The internet has chosen a bizarre orange Muppet named Gritty to lead the Antifa resistance, and by when a minute ago I mean on the 18th of October. In a turn of events that can only be described as peak 2018, Gritty, the googly-eyed bearded orange monstrosity who serves as the recent adopted mascot of the Philadelphia Flyers, has emerged as an icon of the left-wing anti-fascist militant group Antifa. On September 24th, 2018, the National Hockey League's Philadelphia Flyers unveiled Gritty. That's when first started seeing that stuff going around. It was late last month. And it's, quote, talented but feisty, unquote, and, quote, loyal but mischievous, unquote, mascot, quote, a fierce competitor known for his agility, unquote. While recent evidence suggests that Gritty is neither talented nor agile, see, apparently he fell on his butt on his debut, he's most definitely feisty, to the point of threatening another team's mascot, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Quote, sleep with one eye open tonight, bird, unquote. Now let's look at some other articles. You have this by Fox News. Philadelphia Flyers mascot Gritty's likeness wears Antifa logo at anti-Trump protests from October 3rd, updated October 4th. You can see, here's that banner we showed you earlier. The article says, the Philadelphia Flyers' new mascot became a symbol for anti-Trump protesters on Tuesday as demonstrators evoked the image of the orange Muppet-like character ahead of the president's speech. The Philadelphia Flyers' new mascot became a symbol for anti-Trump protesters on Tuesday as demonstrators evoked the image of the orange Muppet-like character ahead of the president's speech. About 100 people gathered outside the Philadelphia Convention Center following a banner that showed mascot Gritty dressed in the Antifa logo with the message, Gritty say get the fuck out of Philly. Other protesters carried signs with Gritty, signs that included similar expletives telling Trump to get out of Philly. You can see some tweets there. I showed you those a little bit earlier, so we're going to fly past them. One sign, for instance, read, this town only has room for one orange asshole. Here's one by WITF. Protesters use images of Flyers' new mascot to decry Trump from October 3rd. And it's from the Associated Press. Unfortunately, they don't show the rest of this sign. It's not my fault, I just don't know what it says down there. And if you notice, this is from a famous picture of Kronos eating, well, one of his sons. These articles are all apparently from the Associated Press. They're pretty much going to say the same stuff, I guess. Here's one by NWI.com. Protesters use images of Flyers' new mascot to decry Trump from October 2nd. There you can see the banner again. And let's see if this article says anything different than the others. Same thing, because it's from the AP. Here's one from Philly Mag. Gritty signs galore. Scenes from the Trump protest in Philly. The president came to City Center on Tuesday afternoon. Here's what some Philadelphians had to say to him from October 2nd. You can see that sign that we showed you a little bit earlier. This one's talking about some road closures. Here are the best scenes from the protest so far, including several Gritty-related signs, because what else do you expect of a city completely obsessed with our new, extremely bizarre mascot who is somewhat Trumpian himself? How is he Trumpian? He doesn't say anything, he just fights and dances, and he looks like a completely unhinged loony leftist on meth. Alright, so much for the articles, let's move on. Alright folks, I made this song and this video. It's a Gritty theme song kind of thing, and I'll play you that in a second, but just so you know, our regressive left friend who's inside the bubble has been sharing this in certain groups. They have these sort of Antifa/Gritty groups with Gritty memes like these you can see right here. Some people seem to like it. If only they knew. Maybe they'll check out other videos I made and get triggered. This hasn't got a lot of views so far, but they do seem to like it, so maybe it'll take off. Basically, it's a Trojan horse. Anyway, without further ado, let's check out that music video that I made the other day.
Straight up and down, so don't even play yourself. In a battle, you better pray for help. 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 Straight up and down, so don't even play yourself.
And everyone wants to Gritty.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Alright folks, I hope you enjoyed that. At this point I was going to show you some memes coming from these social justice warrior and Antifa groups devoted to Gritty, but it's already, this video is already too long, so look forward to the next video for that. Leave us a comment below everyone, and thank you for watching. Love, life, light, liberty, and leaping laughter folks. See you next time.
He looks like he's on meth.
And everyone wants to Gritty.
Yeah.
I can see that. I feel like I have Gritty.